Get the lunch. I'll pick where I'm getting it. So I'm saying all that to get your focus where it belongs. Our focus has been blurry. We're so caught up in ourselves. That selfish spirit that's on the earth. All day long we plan, what are we going to eat? Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Right? But has anybody ever taken the time out to ask, what would you have me do today? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? Am I to eat or am I to fast today? What would you like done today? Boy, we're too quiet. It would be a whole different life if we lived it according to Him.
Amen.
Did not David say that he was constantly seeking God? Didn't David always come before the Lord before he did anything? Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 30. Let's see what's going on there. First Samuel 30, verse 1. Now when David and his men came home to Ziklag on the third day, they found that the Amalekites had made a raid on the south and on Ziklag, and had struck Ziklag and burnt it with fire, and had taken the women and all that were there, both great and small, captive. They killed no one, but carried them off and went on their way. So David and his men came to town, and behold, it was burned. Their wives and their sons and daughters were taken captive. Then David and the men with him lifted up their voices and wept until they had no more strength to weep. David's 2 wives also had been taken captive, and David was greatly distressed, for the men spoke of stoning him, because the souls of them was bitterly grieved, each man for his son and daughter. But David encouraged and strengthened himself in the Lord. Come on. Yeah. And David said to Abda, the priest, I pray you, bring me the ephah. And he brought him the ephah. And David inquired of the Lord. David inquired of the Lord. David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I pursue this troop? Shall I overtake them? And the Lord answered, Pursue, for you will surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. So David went, he and 600 men with him, and he came to the brook of Sabrat, and there those remained who were left behind. But David pursued, and 400 men, for 200 stayed behind, who were too exhausted and fainting to cross the brook. Come on. 400 men go and 200 stay behind, because what?
They were too exhausted.
They were too tired. They found an Egyptian in the field and brought him to David and gave him bread. And he ate and drank water. Come on. This is so powerful. The piece of cake and figs and 2 clusters of raisins. When he had eaten, his spirit returned to him. He had eaten food and drank no water for 3 days, David. And David said to him, To whom do you belong, and from where have you come? And he said, I am a young man of Egypt, servant to an Amalekite. Who was he servant to? So here's another Amalek.
Yeah.
And my master left me 3 days ago because I felt sick.
Wow.
Are we not proving what we said?
Yes.
Our own spirit will leave him behind.
Wow.
And he had made a raid on the south and upon that which belongs to Judah and upon the south of Caleb. And he burned Ziklag with fire. Verse 15. And David said to him, Can you take me down to the band? And he said, Swear to me by God that you will neither kill me nor deliver me into the hands of my master, and I will bring you down to his band. And when he had brought David down, behold, the raiders were spread abroad all over the land, eating and drinking and dancing because of the great spoil they had taken from the land of the Philistines. from the land of Judah. And David smote them from twilight even to the evening of the next day. And not a man of them escaped except 400 youths who rode camels and fled. David recovered all that the Amalekites had taken and rescued his 2 wives. Nothing was missing, small or great, sons or daughters, spoil or anything that had been taken. David recovered all. Come on, you guys. There's something to get excited about. David recovered all.
Yes.
But he was able to recover because it says there that David inquired of the Lord.
Yes.
Man, if I could just press this in you. Listen, whenever I go for an interview, I always pray, Lord, if this is where you want me, then have them hire me. But if this is not where I belong, don't let them call me back. Amen? Why? Because if I pick a job, it's going to be the closest, the one I make the most money at, something I'm going to be happy doing. Come on. Right? Is that not our nature?
Yeah.
Right? But then it would be what I want and not where he wants to place me. An apostle changes the atmosphere. When you come on the scene, everything that's out of order is exposed. That's how you know you're apostolic. But if you're out of order, I don't care what you call yourself. And why would you want to call yourself something?
Yeah.
The thing I have feared more in life are titles.
Yeah.
Because can I live up to them? I remember when I first came to Christ and was teaching, and I had 2 kids. And I was young, 20 years old. And my kids had no order in their life. They ran, jumped, ate all day long. Crazy. I was trying to manage them and preach. So I want to preach at this church, and my son was jumping over the chairs during the sermon. All this is going on, and I'm preaching up a storm, right? That kid's wild. The other one's trying to run behind him. They're just wild. So when my service was over, the person that invited me to speak at their church called me to the back, because they always give you a love offering. So when he called me to the back, he sat me down and he said, do you know whose kids those were out there? And I would say, mine. He said, do your children ever sit still and watch a video or movie? Do you sit and read to them? Do they ever stay still? Or are they just running all over wild banshees? I said, well, basically they're wild banshees, I have to be honest. Because I'm a single parent. And he said, hold on. So he went and got a book off his shelf. It's called Dare to Discipline by James Dobson. He said, read this book. It'll change your life. Here's your love offering. God bless you. See ya. Never invited me back. But my life changed because I was able to train my kids to sit. They didn't eat all day long. They had a bedtime, a wake-up time, a feeding time. Had to. Because as you all know the end of the story, I now had 6. So everything in life has to have order.
Amen.
Everything in life. The earth right now is coming into order. I don't know if you all know this, But the ties that we had with China and the trading deals that we did with them was where we got most of our pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Our medicines come from there.
Yeah.
A lot of our goods come from China. But our president was wise, and God spoke to him and said, break the ties with China.
Wow.
Start making your own medicines here.
Yeah.
Start creating your own goods.
Yeah.
Don't rely on other nations, because who you take from,
Come on.
you owe them.
Yeah.
The minute the president said to China, we're no longer going to be taking from you what we did in the past, all of a sudden, Corona shows up.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
China.
China!
Yeah.
You don't have to be a genius to figure this one out.
Yeah.
Amen?
Yes.
So it was a tactic.
Yeah.
So the world could believe that our president did not know what he's doing. All over Facebook, they're calling him names, saying he's crazy, making fun of him. But what does the Bible tell us to do for him?
Pray.
It doesn't matter who's in office,
Yeah.
whether it be a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah.
It is who God has chosen
Yes.
to be a king. That's what the word called them.
Yeah.
A king to stand in office.
Yes.
And honest, I looked up his IQ yesterday, 140. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you are in the 80s. Don't be knocking 140.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys. He's smart.
Yes.
There's other presidents that went from 145 to 150, a handful. But nevertheless, he is a businessman.
Yeah.
And he knows how to make money.
Yes.
When he came to us, we were in debt. He's been taking us out of what?
Debt.
I'm going to say this boldly. He has chosen to give to the earth
Yes.
billions of dollars as seed.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it that way.
Yes.
He's giving everyone stimulus checks.
Yes.
That's sowing a seed. He's increased the unemployment. That's sowing a seed. So this was his way of giving back to the earth.
Yes.
Wow, wake up, people.
Yes.
And we're complaining?
Mm-hmm.
Then give him back his check when it comes. You don't like him? Return it. Oh, no Trumpers, return. Right? Because you don't like him, so don't keep his money. You might be cursed.
Yeah.
Well, think about it.
Yes.
We have been ignorant because we are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
If you don't know the history, if you're not doing the research, don't just jump on the bandwagon and just follow what everybody says, right?
That's right.
We have to, if I'm going to share something with you, I've researched it. I've studied it. I've looked it up. I'm not just going to bring you anything because I'm held accountable for what I give you. Amen? And I'm not going to take somebody's word for it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I know what I'm saying. I don't want later to find out, oh no, that was all wrong. Amen? So God is on the throne.
Yes.
But the altars have to go back up.
Yes.
Amen.
God has to rule and reign over
Yes.
America again.
Yes.
Amen?
Yes.
We need to bring back prayer into the schools.
Yes.
Amen?
Amen.
Come on.
Yes.
We need to change the atmosphere.
Yes.
But it can only be changed through prayer.
Yes.
Amen? Life and death is where?
And the power of the tongue.
Power of our tongue. We don't need to entertain anything negative. You might have to hold your hand up and say, please, I don't want to be infected
Yeah.
by what you believe. Hold your stories to yourself. Amen? Because we don't want to open ourselves up to all these things. Why? Because we go back to Job. The thing I fear the most has what? Has come upon me. Right?
Yeah.
The things that you're afraid of will show up. Listen. if you're afraid to gain weight, so you eat in fear, you could eat a little bit and still gain weight because you're afraid to eat. The eating is not the problem. It's fear and what you're eating. That's the answer. You're afraid, but you just had McDonald's. Now they're making a triple Big Mac. Fries. Crispy. And drink it down with Diet Coke. Interesting. You think that little Diet Coke's going to fix the big burger and fries?
Still has sugar.
Think about it. And if you research Diet Coke, do it. Embalming fluid. Right? So there's things slowly killing us. We don't need a virus. We just need you eating out often. I laugh because right now everybody's had to cook. I hope they know how to cook. Well, they're eating a lot of stuff that don't taste good. Because people are afraid to go out, right? But we're still looking at what's behind all of this. I just told you. We no longer want to trade with you.
Yeah,
You will no longer control us.
that's right.
You will no longer send our toys that we buy for our children
Come on.
full of lead.
Yeah, that's right.
They knew what they were doing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know if you've ever noticed this or known this, but if you go to a restaurant and you get upset because the food wasn't cooked right, or they put maybe a onion and you don't like onions, so you make a big scene, right? The poor waitress, she's crying almost because you just let her have it. Told her how dumb she was for bringing you the wrong meal. So she's crying. She goes back to the cook and says, "They said no onions. I wrote it on the paper." I'll be a little lenient here. 50% of the time, the cook will remake your burger and spit in it and send it back to you. How do I know? Because I've seen it done. That shows you for making her cry. Now we're really quiet. That's their way of retaliating. Do you not see what's going on?
Yes.
All of us have some Amalek in us. And the more Amalek, the greater you'll draw to you what it has. The Amaleks were rebellious people. They operated under witchcraft. They brought diseases. But their tactic was attacking when nobody was looking. Because they attacked from the back. We saw David's crew, we read it in 1 Samuel 30. When David came to the men so they could go to war, he saw that 200 of them were what? How many remember?
Tired.
They were tired. So what did he tell them to do? Stay behind. Don't come.
Yeah,
You're just going to mess us up.
yeah.
You're tired. You all know how you get when you're tired, right? Moody, agitated.